Siomai a croeso cynnes. Welcome to What's Your Story. I'm James Owen, a Welsh filmmaker and storyteller, and I'm passionate about sharing stories. This podcast is all about business owners sharing their journey. We'll be speaking with directors, entrepreneurs, and creatives from all across Wales to learn from their experiences. We believe everyone has a story to tell. What's your story? Siomai a croeso cynnes, welcome back to What's Your Story. I've got a really exciting guest who's been brewing for some time. I want to have a deep dive into somebody who has had tremendous success, a local business who I got to learn that they won a competition locally through Psyche, a charity that we support. They were the winners of a competition and have gone on from strength to strength over the last couple of years, building a successful business in the health space. I'm really excited to have a conversation with the exciting Lucy Clark from OatSoak. Lucy, thank you so much for coming down and speaking to What's Your Story.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
It's okay. But you've fallen short already. Before recording, you didn't bring any samples with you today.
Oh, don't. I've had a nightmare. I've had an absolute nightmare. But I'm absolutely kicking myself.
But that's okay. You can send some in the post, maybe.
Absolutely, I promise. I will make up for it with a hamper.
A hamper?
A hamper.
An OatSoak hamper.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good to see the products and get a feel for it. Now, for those who are watching, listening, you're an entrepreneur, you're a mother, you're a business owner who's been building OatSoak over the last couple of years. Can you just tell our listeners and those watching, what is OatSoak in a nutshell?
So, OatSoak is a bath additive skincare brand designed, with people who suffer with eczema, psoriasis, skin concerns. So the aim of the brand is that everything that we sell under the OatSoak brand is super, super safe, super gentle, 100% natural. So if somebody has any skin complaints at all, they know that when they pick up something OatSoak, that it will be as gentle as is humanly possible for their skin. So
for you, was it really important to create a product that really targets that specific audience and people who maybe have tried skin products and because of their skin conditions, they can't find something that fits them?
Well, the brand was born of a problem, really. I'm very fortunate. I don't suffer with any skin conditions myself, but the brand was born of a problem, which is my sister's little boy, Arthur, suffered with awful eczema, and it was a really, really stressful time for my sister and her family because her husband was a key worker. She had 3 boys under 5. And,
this is going back lockdown
This is going back lockdown, yeah. And, it was an incredibly stressful situation. And Arthur's skin was sort of, we could say that it was the straw that broke the camel's back then at that time, I guess, for a young family. So it was very much born of a problem. Every single thing that she was picking up off the shelf, sometimes it would irritate her skin, sometimes it wouldn't. There was no rhyme or reason. We were looking at the back of ingredients lists and couldn't identify what was bothering him. But we realised that a lot of these products for sensitive skin contained colloidal oatmeal. So we set about sort of isolating that, I guess, because if it's in all of these products and it's clearly good for your skin, then why is all the other stuff added in with it?
What's that called? Is it a chemical?
Well, I suppose the INCI name for it is Avena sativa. It's just oats, oats. But what happens is, these skincare manufacturers, they want it in gel form, they want it in a cream. That means you're adding water. And as the second you're adding water to something, then you've got to add in preservatives. Right. So, and it's the preservatives, that's when the long ingredients list start then. So we wanted to, basically change that and make something where when you look at the back of an ingredients list, all the names and, all the ingredients make sense to people so they understand what they're putting on their skin rather than just codes and chemicals.
So Arthur, how old would you be now in lockdown at this time?
So 18
Oh,
months, one
literally a
little,
little baby,
yeah,
little
little,
toddler.
yeah,
Okay, so yeah, mum is seeing all these sort of
yeah,
skincare solutions that aren't working. And interestingly, I guess those would have been baby focused
yeah.
skincare products.
So yeah, child. But then, I developed an interest in it then. So I started researching, right, oats, skincare. What else is it in? Is it in, eczema, psoriasis, chickenpox? What is it good for? And it turns out that, it is oats, nature's active ingredient. It's classed as a medicine. But, because of the way that, skincare is produced, a lot of these creams and shampoos and bath additives are all in liquid format, which means that, there's a whole host of other stuff goes in with it as well.
I guess the other stuff preserves it, it keeps
Yeah.
it usable,
Yeah.
applicable, which kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting how you sort of fell into this.
Yeah.
That out of a problem,
Yeah.
you seen you didn't find the solution initially, but you researched and
Yeah.
researched and so did you just go and buy some oats and get a mixer and
Yeah.
what was the first iteration of the product?
So I borrowed a posh blender, like a £500 blender, and I started putting oats in the blender, and I would, set it to blitz. It would overheat, and I'd give it 10 minutes to cool down, and then I'd do it again just to see how fine I could get it, whether or not, we could get it to dissolve. Yeah. And of course we couldn't. Until we started, buying in specialist equipment. But eventually we got there and just started, it just got bigger and bigger. We'd, give some out to friends and family, people who were struggling with their skin. And, it just very soon we realised that we had a viable business in this.
And initially, was it the a skincare type of product? Was it the bath additive first?
Bath additive first. Yeah, and that remains our best-selling product.
Bath additive.
The bath additive, yeah.
So early on, borrowing or using a expensive blender got you so far.
Yeah.
You then saw an advert for the competition with Psycha. Was it the Young Dragons competition?
Yeah. So
remind me of the name.
At that time, we were,
both still working, I believe.
I'd been furloughed, but I was part-time. I wasn't fully furloughed. I had been full-time furloughed because, I worked in training and all government-funded training was pulled. And then I went back, I think it was like 10, 16 hours or something. So I was still working. Katie was on maternity leave, I believe, still from her post as a drug and alcohol support worker. So, we started dabbling. At that time, we started selling on Amazon.
Did you really?
We did, yeah. That's where it started for us, is on Amazon. And
with the £500 blender.
With the £500 blender and, a sieve, an imported sieve, So Katie saw an advert for, sort of Carmarthenshire Dragon's Den, which, turned out to be the Psycha Dry Guy.
Psycha Dry Guy, that's what it was.
Yeah. So Katie applied for it, and I didn't really think much of it. She said to me, I've applied for this thing with Psycha and Llanelli. And I was like, okay, we'll see what comes
You
of
where's that?
Yeah, I was, to be honest. But no, I'd heard of Psycha from my previous role, my job, but no more than that, no more than having heard of them. So, then I think we had either had an email or phone call back. Katie was the contact, and we'd been accepted on it, and I think it was like intensive support followed by a panel, and it was like a Dragon's Den type situation. Yeah. where...
So do you have like an hour presentation or something to showing off the product?
Yeah, we had a presentation, and I had all like our Amazon like stats and figures, and this is what it costs, and this would be our margin, and of course I didn't really have a clue what I was on about that. Didn't have rent, didn't have premises, didn't have staff. It was probably like, if you broke down my hours, I was probably on like 20p an hour or something. But we won the the funding. I think it was £3,000 in funding we won.
Wow.
And we bought tabletop machinery for it, and we were linked up with Anne Littlejohns from CK's, who's been our mentor ever since, and sort of provided us with our first unit. But yeah, it was that was the start, definitely.
That was what, 21, 22? When was this?
I think so. It's mad, isn't it? Time just like blends into one.
Blends.
It does, yeah.
No pun intended.
No, no pun intended.
But so fantastic! You won the competition.
Yes.
You obviously showed the people who were on the panel.
Yeah.
What we were working on, and
Yeah.
they've seen something in you.
Yeah.
And and for myself, involved with Psycha, they're
Yeah.
a fantastic charity.
Yeah.
They do amazing work with young people and children in across Llanelli and outside the town. Fantastic charity. So to see and hear about you guys winning it was like, oh, incredible, because for you, that actually got you that was almost the catalyst to get that neck, because a £500 blender,
Absolutely.
in any kind of, I mean, we could talk about coffee shops, right?
Yeah,
you buy
yeah,
a cheap blender to grind coffee.
Yeah.
But if you go into a coffee shop, it's got to be quick, efficient, fine.
Yeah.
So investing in that next bit of kit
Yeah.
does wonders for your manufacturing.
Well, it did wonders for our confidence as well, because up until that point, for us, it was still a business that was being run from a garage. It was like, right, okay, let's go. Let's actually try and make a go of it, because £3,000, we've won this, so people must see, it must be a good business. So let's have a go. Let's chuck everything at it.
Have a go. So you decided to quit these jobs?
Yeah, quit the jobs.
What was that like?
Very nerve-wracking. I loved my job, but I loved this more. Yeah. But very, 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 scary. We had kids and mortgages, both of us. But yeah.
And did you find that the business was growing at a sort of a sensible pace where, you didn't hit too much of a lull, it was just going up and up and up?
Yeah, it was going up and up and up. There were sort of sweet spots, I guess, like before VAT registration. Little things like that where, we didn't know how good we had it at that point, and then something big happens, and it really has been a roller coaster. Some weeks you go, oh my God, we've had this and we've had this and this, and can you believe this? And then other weeks you're like, oh no, like, why is it quiet? I don't like it. It's quiet. What's going on?
Yeah. So okay, it's not been plain sailing then.
No, I mean, overall it has. But it's as if, it's as if it's gone so well that whenever it's not going so well, we're like, oh my God, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's happening? Well, that's just, running a business.
Yeah,
Problems along the way.
It's a roller coaster.
Yeah, good weeks, bad weeks. But generally, very lucky, very fortunate, very blessed.
So through the cycle competition, you had that money to invest in some equipment.
Yeah.
You then got to rent a unit.
Yeah.
You had a space.
Yeah.
And more recently, you've gone into a bigger unit, haven't you?
Yeah. So
tell me a bit about that growth and how you've managed that.
So, we...
I guess you needed it.
Yeah, we ended up with staff. We needed storage. We needed room for, people to move, room for people to work. Me and Katie needed somewhere to work. We needed, proper setup. We needed bigger machines. What started as these £3,000 worth of tabletop machines, then, we need purpose-built machines. We need, big capacity machines. And then with that, you need health and safety. You need 3-phase. You need all of these different things that you don't quite appreciate when, a couple of years before, you're grinding oats in a blender. in your garage.
There's a cost of scale, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah. To the point where, your turnover is climbing. And you sort of can't believe it because, but at the same time, you're reinvesting.
Yeah. So it's nice in the bank account.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I need to buy this thing now.
Basically, yeah.
Oh, it's gone.
Yeah, basically. So it's like, you plug. It's like it sounds bad. It's not. We know that we're building something that's worth something, but we're always more excited about investing rather than earning, about growing it rather than. Do you see what I'm
Yeah,
trying
I
to say?
see what you mean. Good, but it's reinvesting in the business.
Yeah.
We do that in Stori Cymru.
Yeah.
And it's for me, I don't get very excited about. I mean, some things. It's nice to have new toys, right?
Yeah.
Like for us, lenses and
Yeah.
cameras, drones, fantastic.
Yeah.
Storage.
Yeah.
For me to spend 12 grand on a
Yeah.
server for storage,
Yeah.
that's not a sexy purchase.
No.
But it's something essential we've got to have.
Yeah. But
exactly.
is it insurance? Like things like that, but
Who wants insurance?
I know.
But saying that, if your unit burns down,
I know,
then
that's it today.
it's one of those things.
That's it. But things like you realise, right, okay, we ran out of stock in February. Let's not make the same mistake next February. Let's get another machine and let's get it now. It's
You've
like
learned from those mistakes.
Yeah, but we're still learning. We're going
That's
after that big growth, like that huge growth that companies always talk about. Usually say, right, okay, and 2026 was the year that my business grew, 150%. You see, hair syrup, a vodka, like that 1 year of whoosh. We're going for that.
You're going for that?
We're going for that.
That's the ambition.
Yeah, that's
well, it
the
seems like
ambition.
you're on track because you've gone from strength to strength, and you've recently had a big sort of success in growing into a new market across the pond.
Well,
can you tell me about that, Lucy?
So this time last year, this was Katie Guernsey. She applies for things, and I think, oh, she's rather.
You talk in the business.
Sounds cool. But no, I mean, she'll say, and I don't sort of register it, and I think, oh, that sounds cool. Or I think, oh, we won't, that. I don't know. I just carry on with the day-to-day running of the business. And she said to me, I've applied for this thing with a company called Natural Grocers in the States. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. Anyway, I just carried on living my life. And we got invited to pitch, basically, to this supermarket chain called Natural Grocers in Dallas.
Texas, bloody hell.
Yeah, Dallas in Texas. So it was a 15-minute pitch. So we had
was it in person?
It was, yeah.
Oh, so you actually had to fly out to
America? Yeah, we flew out to America and pitched to the skincare buyer for Natural Grocers out in the States. And they loved it. They absolutely loved it. They loved it. They loved us. They wanted to list. But they said that they don't import themselves and that they wanted to work with us via distributor. So they linked us up with a distributor who we now do business with. So, yeah, from Carmarthen, from a garage in Carmarthen, we now have an American distributor. And we launched in 176 Natural Grocers stores in the States last week.
Last week.
All
the way from Carmarthen.
That
is bonkers.
I know.
Hearing you say that, how do you feel about hearing that?
It's all a bit odd. It feels like a bit of a out-of-body experience, to be honest. I don't financially feel it.
Not yet. Maybe when you sell a few.
Yeah. It's incredible. Very, very proud of myself, my sister, our team, the business. Very thankful to all of the people who have helped us along the way. But yeah, it's incredibly nerve-wracking.
Well done. That's a bloody good achievement.
Thank you very much. But again, now things like, actually, that was a year in the making. So, it was a year ago.
You flew out.
A year ago we went out to Dallas. So it took till, I think it was November, we were on board with the distributor, and obviously last week we had OatSoak on the shelves in Natural Grocers. But it all of the things in terms of compliance and paperwork and everything that they needed, you realise, right, okay, you have to spend money. You have to make sure that you've got this accreditation and that accreditation, and you've got to have this amount of insurance. So, it's sort of that's all part of scaling as well. I'm learning is, reacting to new needs, new customer needs.
Yeah, there's an increased cost in scaling.
Yeah.
Because you go in across the pond,
Yeah.
transatlantic.
Yeah.
How do you get your product there?
Yeah.
Because you could probably use in the UK,
Yeah.
DPD, Royal Mail, right?
Yeah.
Don't think it quite works like that when you're
No.
shipping a lot of product across to America. So that
Yeah.
brings a lot of costs. There's
Yeah.
probably different legislation within healthcare in America. So do you
Yeah.
need certain license or certification to sell in America?
We
that
do.
you don't in the UK. So that's,
Correct.
it sounds like a minefield.
Yeah. Correct. We are FDA approved. Which
What does
is
that mean?
mad. Food and Drug Administration.
Oh,
Yeah, in America.
bloody hell.
So we've had to, register with that. It's
Crazy.
learning curve.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. New level.
Absolutely.
Next challenge.
Yeah.
So,
Achievement unlocked.
Achievement unlocked.
Yeah.
I find, in my experience in business, you have wins, you have big achievements, and it comes the next challenge because when you get your first member of staff,
Yeah.
that's something to overcome.
Yeah.
Then you get your next one, and
Yeah.
so on, and or you hit a certain sales target.
Yeah.
You go VAT registered, you hit 6 figures.
Yeah.
There's always that next challenge you don't face.
Yeah.
When you're lower down in that sort of journey.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Absolutely.
But obviously, take the wins.
Yeah.
While they come.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But me and Katie say all the time, if it never, went any further than just me and Katie working together, manufacturing, if it never went any further than, just us, the both of us having the freedom to run this business together, then we'd be chuffed. Everything else is just a bit addictive, I guess. A bit of a, it's all extras, having, growing the business. We're over the moon. Really, really pleased with how it's grown. It's grown beyond our wildest dreams as it is, let alone what we're aiming for, I guess.
This is what, year 6, year 5?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
6 coming into year 6.
More to come.
Now.
Well, we've had a lot of, I'd love to pick your brains, Lucy. We've had lots of entrepreneurs come on here, successful entrepreneurs, and a lot in the region tend to be family businesses.
Yeah.
My wife is a co-director, so I know what it's like working with family.
Yeah.
How do you and your sister keep a healthy relationship while you work together, but also balance being sisters and doing life together?
We are really close. We're best mates as well. We do a lot, like our kids play, like sort of grow up together. We are really close. It's a difficult balance, I guess. I think
because I talk shop to my wife all the time.
Yeah,
she's like head on the pillow, like sleeping.
Yeah,
and I'm like excited about tomorrow. What are you doing? And she's like, "Don't talk to me. I'm sleeping."
Yeah.
So I have that problem of I find it hard to switch off.
Yeah. No, honestly, we'll text each other at 1 o'clock in the morning. I've just seen that. So she'll send me a reel from Instagram like this. Have you seen these? Have you seen this? Have you seen this? It is with me and Katie non-stop because it's equally both of our passions. It's not like one of us is more excited than the other and one of us is bothering the other, at all. I was going to say more than, but, we love it.
Yeah.
Both love it.
So you just naturally have a good balance.
Yeah, we
without
do,
thinking too much about it.
Yeah, we do have. Sometimes she does say to me,
here we go.
Right, actually, it is rare, but sometimes she does. In fact, right, we were on a spa day, okay, which we went on specifically because we needed to switch off and relax, and it was my mum's Christmas present.
Okay.
And
did you soak in some oats?
Well, we were in the middle of the spa day and I said something to Katie about work and she was like, Lucy, we're on a spa day, please, like, oh, but let's talk about this after. I was like, okay. That's the only time I can really think.
That's the only time
Spa
where
day for my
the
mum's birthday.
boundaries
She's
have
like, please,
clashed.
please. You're getting my adrenaline, my work adrenaline up. Was trying to relax.
So if anyone's thinking about starting a business in their garage, what advice would you give to somebody who has an idea, whether that be in skincare, in health, product-based business? You know, if somebody's, starting something, what advice would you give to that person that you've learned over 5-6 years running your business? What's the first bit of advice you give?
So we were in a we tested the product on Amazon, and I know that has its its positives and its negatives. The fees
Probably
are
quite
extortionate.
expensive to use Amazon.
It is the fees are extortionate. However, it's something that you can trial from home. It is, if you've got an idea, let's say, I don't know, you can start making bath bombs, then Amazon, it is accessible. There's millions of shoppers. There's a reason why he's the richest bloke in the world. And Amazon reviewers, they are completely brutal. It's completely, there's no niceness. If you get a 1-star review, that that your product's pants and it probably hasn't got any legs, but at least and at least it's not, people telling you, no, it's great, like, it's amazing, keep going. You're wasting your time. But at the same time, it took me a long time to go out on the road and sell in person to local businesses. It took me a long time to build up the courage to do that. And that gave me a lot of confidence. That went really well for me. I'd get in the car, I'd fill the boot, and I'd stop at Forage Farm shop, I'd stop at Burns and Flatley. And I remember stopping in health shops, yeah. And it was lovely and it went really, really well. And then, but it took me a long time to do that. Amazon sort of got me there, I guess.
More with the confidence,
More with the confidence, definitely, yeah.
Probably old school sales, I like that.
Yeah. No, I
and you found
I
it worked?
Yeah, I love it. And I love going out in the car and doing that and visiting stockists now. I was fortunate enough. I spent a couple of days doing it the other day. I love doing it.
I think the advice there, if you're selling a product,
Amazon,
test it.
yeah, basically test it, because that's people were saying to us, oh, it's brilliant, it's amazing, and then I kept thinking to myself, is it really, or you're just saying that to be nice? Because I'd find it hard to say to somebody, actually, it's no good. Give it up. If that was their passion, test it on eBay, test it on Amazon, test it on one of these e-commerce sites, and you will get honest feedback really quickly.
Because you to build a successful business, a product-based business anyway, your product's got to be good.
Yeah,
so if it's rubbish, nobody's going to buy it.
Yeah, and the other thing is, sometimes your product might not be in the right place. As an example, there are local shops that OatSoak doesn't sell, at, because it's not the right vibe for that particular shop. It's not the right customer base. And, I think in hindsight, if that was my first go at bringing the product out, then that would have knocked my confidence. I'd have thought, oh, well, it's no good, it doesn't sell. Whereas, we had the online, we were able to test it, we were able to test the market, we were looking at the reviews, we were looking at, where does this belong? When people buy OatSoak, what else do they buy with it? And we quickly realised that it's the health shop market that we were looking at.
Test the product. Yeah. Absolutely great advice. Going to hear a little bit about your story today.
Right.
Which has been fantastic to hear the business and your background, giving up your job to do this venture with your sister.
Yeah.
If you could spend an hour sitting down, listening to anyone's story, Lucy, whose story would you love to hear?
The people whose story I'd like to hear, it's a really difficult one, because certain names are coming up to me. As an example, Stephen Bartlett. I've already heard his story. But
yeah, but it's different. hearing aid
Yeah.
person, isn't it?
Yeah, because that I think is incredible.
Yeah, he is just an absolute machine.
Yeah,
Very, very inspirational guy.
yeah,
And he seems to me like the real deal.
yeah,
He's not, there's lots of successful people.
yeah,
I mean, we've spoken about Jeff Bezos with Amazon
Yeah.
and all these tech billionaires.
yeah,
Some of them ethically,
Yeah.
I don't know them personally, but you get a vibe from
Yeah.
how they're
absolutely. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just think Stephen Ballard is the real deal.
Yeah.
He is who he says he is.
Yeah.
On camera, off camera.
But like little things I find amazing with him as well. Like he said he was talking about he installed a slide in one of his offices, and they were struggling. He wasn't turning a profit, but this slide he knew would, like, people would be talking about the fact that there's a slide in this new head office.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Like little things like that. I'm just like, oh wow, like that. Who would have? That's so clever to have. Just little things. And I was looking the other day at Flight Story. Anyway, Stephen Bartlett probably.
Well, I mean, he's changed the podcast game.
Yeah.
Like, period. It is the
Yeah.
gold standard of podcasts, and
Yeah.
one we take a lot of inspiration from.
Yeah.
I haven't got space in here for 7 cameras, mine, because
No.
I think that's about as much as he uses.
How many
It's a heck of a set.
We got 2.
And did you know, right? He's got a set in Los Angeles and he's got a set in London
Yeah.
that look exactly the same.
I didn't know that. But I know.
Filming guests in America,
Yeah.
filming guests in London,
Yeah.
and it looks identical.
Yeah.
You can't actually tell where they're filming.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah. That is
That's a goal for Stori Cymru.
Yeah.
Stephen Bartlett Studio.
definitely. But I mean, the Diary of CEO podcast, there'd be guests that I think to myself, oh, I'm not really. That sounds a bit boring to me. But I'll still listen because I know it'll be. I know it'll be.
Oh, it's like, for him, it's some of the guests he gets on, they're fascinating because
Yeah.
they're experts in their field.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. I mean, I've been tuning in. I think the downside of it, they're just so long.
Yeah.
It takes a lot to listen to a whole episode. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't think any of them are less than an hour now.
Yeah.
They're monster episodes to
Yeah.
listen to. But gold, absolutely rich in information.
Yeah.
Really informative. You learn a lot.
Yeah, I like the broad spectrum. So Simon Cowell, Davina McCall, and then
Yeah.
you've got ex spies and business people and scientists. It's just
It's a good mix, isn't it?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so that's who you'd interview. Steve
Yeah,
Bartlett.
yeah,
Maybe you could invest in your company.
yeah. I know. I've been looking at flight.
Do you reckon he's
Story,
got
let's go.
some distributors he can help you with?
I
Steve,
think
if you're
he
watching
might.
this,
I think he
help
might.
out OatSoak.
Yeah, I think he might. Yeah,
He might.
definitely.
Fantastic. Well, Lucy, it's been a pleasure to get to hear your story.
Yeah.
And for you,
Thank you.
as a mum who is juggling life,
Yes.
it's not easy to run a business with a family.
Yes.
But it's a real joy to hear that you're doing this alongside your sister.
Yeah.
You have a great relationship with her. You're best friends. You're doing life with her, and you're building this business together, and you're succeeding tremendously. And I'm excited to see where the growth goes. And who knows where you'll be in the next 5 years. Thank you for sharing your story here today. And I'd love the audience to get a chance to engage with you. Where's the best place they can find out about OatSoak? Maybe buy one of your products.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are fortunate enough to be on sale to have our own website. You can buy direct on www.oatsoakuk.com. You can reach out to us on socials, and we're also stocked at Just My Luck. Take your pick.
Take your pick. There you are.
pick.
Got all those places to find OatSoak.
Yeah.
Lucy, diolch yn fawr. Thank you so much for
very
coming
much.
on. And
Pleasure.
excited to follow the growth of OatSoak over the next couple of years.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to What's Your Story. If you enjoy this conversation, I would encourage you to subscribe on your favourite podcast platform, whether that's Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, and the rest, because we don't want you to miss out on future episodes. Sharing these stories really helps us reach more people. And if you know someone in Wales or beyond with a great story to tell, let us know, because we believe everyone has a story. Diolch am gwrando. Thank you for listening. We will see you in the next episode.